The Research Center on Civil Construction Risks, CIROC, of La Salle University was founded in 2002. The main objective of CIROC is to develop the understanding and knowledge of natural phenomena which affect civil construction. Also, its main idea is to create new construction technologies which reduce the risk during the construction phase and during its operational lifetime. The Geotechnical Models Lab, GeoLab, founded in 2008, is an area of physical and numerical modeling to research soil structure, interactions, and the monitoring of studies of processes and structures at full scale. An example of the research conducted by CIROC in the GeoLab was the study of settlements induced by TBM in soft grounds in Bogota, Colombia, presented at the World Tunnel Congress in Budapest in 2009.
The settlement studies were conducted using three research methods: strict monitoring of ground surface movements in an observation area of 40.5 meters by 16 meters over the sewer system tunnel named Fucha-Tunjuelo in Bogota, Colombia. The large-scale model was constructed in a 2.4 meters by 2.5 meters in plan and 1.6 meters deep, being at the GeoLab of the La Salle University in Bogota. A mixture of sand, oil, and bentonite was used to simulate natural soil. This mixture was precisely calculated applying the laws of scales. The simulation of the tunneling process was conducted with a simple model of TBM prototype and control of pressure in the cut head. Also, a series of numerical models in 3 dimensions using FEM were made. Finally, this research presents the comparison of all results obtained using the 3 research methods, and a particular behavior of the analyzed soil during the excavation is also defined. The study of settlements induced by tunneling where new technologies are used, it's important to foment in a safe way the modernization of primary service tunnel systems in Bogota. The monitoring of ground surface movement induced by TBM tunnel construction was performed in an observation area of the sewer system Fucha-Tunjuelo project in Bogota, Colombia. The area was selected from the geotechnical model of the project, looking for a homogeneous zone of typical soils of Bogota. The dimensions of the observation area were of 40.5 meters by 16 meters. Before taking topographical data, 3 exploratory borings were realized up to half diameter of depth under the lowest part of the tunnel, 2 over the axis and another one 3 meters away from the axis tunnel. Classification and geomechanical soil tests were performed for all the samples. The geotechnical model of the observation area is shown in Figure 1. A net was built over the trial area with a total of 28 sections of control, each section with 15 control points, a total of 420 control points in the settlement control zone. The control points of the net were measured topographically on Saturday, 28th of February 2009, when the tunnel head was being delayed at kilometer K9 plus 252.25, that is 7.75 meters away from the first transversal section of the observation area, obtaining the initial coordinates of all control points. On Monday, 2nd of March at 6 a.m., the progress of the TBM was restarted, and also a series of topographical measurements of the control zone were taken in 15 cycles during 24 hours until 4 p.m. on Wednesday, 4th of March, when the tunnel was situated at kilometer K9 plus 340, that is 40 meters from the last section of the observation area. With previous readings, maximum settlement curves of the 28 sections of control were constructed, and a statistical analysis of conducted, from which the section with the average settlement profile was obtained. In this figure shows a curve of relative movements along the tunnel axis vs time in hours from the cutter head of the TBM to the section of control. At the GeoLab, a physical model of the studied phenomenon was constructed based on equivalent materials technique and applying the laws of similarity for geotechnical studies. The model is under a gravitational field equal to 1g. The similarity between the prototype and the model is simple type. The fundamental scale factors are geometric scale, temporary scale, and mass scale. In order to determine in the model the equivalent material to natural soil, the GeoLab mixing charts were applied, seeking the perfect mix, which would correspond to all data calculated by the laws of similarity. Finally, a mixture was made of standard sand, bentonite, and industrial oil. To model the concrete rings, a prefabricated mixture of sand, plaster, and water was also composed. The model of TBM was constructed using steel with a rotating cutting head with all dimensions according to the geometrical scale. In the next figure, we can observe the instrumentation installed inside the model. The surface movements were registered by LVTD. Internal pressures of soil were measured by load cells, and vectors of movement were registered using close-range photography at the surface and in the cross-sections, the visible sides, of the model. The trial test took 12 hours long on the 14th of March 2009. In the next figure, we can observe the registered displacements on the surface which are related to the progress of the TBM cutting head, and the register of displacement are observed in the control section. In the investigation stage, three-dimension models were constructed by the finite element method FEM in the Praxis three-dimension tunnel platform. The results were compared to the field data, and the improvement was 4% in the maximum settlement, 15% in the width of the settlement section, which gives a total variation of minus 18% of volume loss. Finally, all the data of all three stages of research were compared. The transversal section of settlements measured in field, calculated from the physical model applying the laws of similarity, with the adjusted FEM model and FEM model without adjustments. The result observed from the graphic shows similarity between the curves of the transversal section of settlements measured in field and the adjusted FEM model, with an average error of 7%. The main conclusions of the present investigation are: first, the combination of experimental stages by means of physical models with numerical models by means of FEM, for example, allows models to reach such adjustments where particular cases can be studied. In the evaluation of settlements originated by TBM, construction and adjustment of 4% in the maximum settlement was allowed, 15% for the width of settlement zone, and 18% in the data of loss of ground. Second, for future research where the case of heterogeneous layers in grounds is studied, physical modeling is promissory in research on the interaction of different layers and its impact on the settlements phenomenon in tunnels.
The research of settlements induced by tunnel boring machines in soft ground was very important for the research group of civil construction risk, because in first place, the research was presented at the World Tunnel Congress in Hungary, and in second place, the results of the research will influence in the development of Bogotá, especially to reduce the risk in future tunnel construction projects like the metro and the transportation tunnel.
The authors express gratitude to the University of La Salle for its sponsorship in this investigation, to Acueducto of Bogotá, Colombia, owner of the Fucha-Tunjuelo Tunnel project, where we were allowed to take soil samples and use the observational area, and to all staff at the GeoLab at the La Salle University, where all the stages of the physical and mathematical models construction were developed.